Last week on Sailing Adrift, we touched on the importance of food storage and how much that means to us. Clearly, we love cooking and creating new culinary experiences. Gourmet meals every night may not be super practical while living aboard, but we can at least set ourselves up with ample fridge and freezer storage so we aren't left wanting. We made an investment and purchased these.
Look what we got!
What did we get?
Well, the refrigerator and the freezer.
Sweet.
We elected to buy removable, highly efficient, Dometic cooler refrigerators. This doesn't seem like quite enough refrigeration, so we are going to add a built-in, in the salon, third option, utilizing the super cool machine, or whatever the heck it was called, that we inherited with the Bolt. And that one you can either set it to be a freezer or a refrigerator, and that'll be like our third option. So it should be nice and easy and less labor than building a whole box.
Which we'll now show in this episode.
There you have it, our refrigeration. Check that out. So I just bid on vacuum insulated panels for our refrigeration unit that'll be in the salon bench, and they accepted them. The cool thing about vacuum insulated panels is that their R value is super high. A typical vacuum insulated panel, 1 inch thick, would have an R value of 60, which is freaking crazy because like foam of the same thickness would be a 5. The problem with vacuum insulated panels is you get one shot at making them. You can't make weird funky shapes really that aren't just square-ish. And if you pierce the Mylar exterior, your insulation value just went down to about, I don't know, 2. I've been really struggling to find these things. I've looked all over the place. No one is available to do these because the medical field with the vaccines going around has monopolized it. So I found some online that are prefabbed, and that's the way I figured I'd had to go. To have custom ones made are ridiculously expensive. Like each panel just to set it up for a particular size is like $140 with the one place that actually gave me a quote. And then for each panel you run is another 40 or 50 bucks. So by the time you got done with it, it would be like $200 per panel. What? And with the number of panels we need, we'd be in for $1,000. Found this place, 19 by 20 inch panels, which should fit very well for what we're trying to do. 1/2 inch thick, R30 value. They're only $8 a piece plus shipping. Shipping's about $8, so we're gonna call them 20 bucks a piece. So what we're gonna do is have a double layer all around the sides and the bottom and a single layer on the lids, and that should give us a super duper R value, and even if one of them gets punctured, we still have half the R value left. That's the goal. We're gonna build a box to protect them in and suspend them in spray foam insulation. It's gonna be great. Get ready for a project. This one I better open because if something bad happens to it, I'd rather I did it.
Okay.
Oh no, I got epoxy all over these scissors.
Be gentle.
It's like I'm dissecting an alien's egg. And a green goo is gonna come out and a gas is gonna go in my face, and then I'll be possessed by the alien. These are what we got. Vacuum insulated panels. Boy, they're sticky. These are a very delicate thing, vacuum insulated panels. They're about 1/2 inch thick. And we're going to use them to create a refrigerator. For the interior of the box, we are going to use XPS, which is polystyrene insulative board. This stuff works pretty darn good. It's got an R value of 5 per inch. The best part is we don't really care about the insulative power of this. Yes, it's gonna be great to add a little R value, but the real workhorse is gonna be those vacuum insulated panels. So this is really just kind of here to protect that. This will actually end up being the cushion and then the interior of the box. So the process is going to be to rough this up and then fiberglass it with 2 layers of fiberglass, and then we'll cut it to size, install it, put some fillets in the corner, we'll fair this out, and then paint it with more epoxy tinted with a pigment. First thing we're gonna do is take some 80 grit sandpaper and rough up this surface so it's going to take the fiberglass better. There's a huge difference in texture. That was super easy. Obviously little gouges don't make that big of a deal, but overall we just kind of used that logoing to make sure that everything got sanded rough. That's what we want. Next step is glass. Check this out. This might be the smoothest I've ever made a fiberglass layup where I've got pill ply over it and everything. Good saturation. There's a few drier spots in there obviously, but those aren't bubbles. There's not a single bubble on this that I can find right now. It looks awesome. I'm excited to see what it's gonna look like in the morning. Even if there is a bubble or two, that's no big deal. We're going to obviously fair this and coat it in epoxy and all that fun stuff. So there'll be plenty of time for repairs, but wouldn't it be awesome if it was perfect the first time? That's gonna be it for tonight. Back at it in the morning. Look at all these little stupid bubbles, Kelly. They weren't here last night. This is BS. Still looks pretty great though. This product is 1 inch thick. God, so much nicer when that stupid furnace turns off. But we don't need it to be this thick. Actually, the thinner the better, because this is not to be for insulation. It's to cushion the vacuum insulated panels so they don't get punctured. So what we'll probably do is cut these pieces to size and then remove some material off the back. It would be nice if we could perfectly cut it in half to 1/2 inch, but you know, we'll probably just use the MONTY tool, because even if there's some dips and valleys, we're gonna kind of mash everything together with expanding foam. So what that'll basically do is fill all the gaps, and this will be perfect, and we'll have the maximum interior space. But the next thing we need to do is build a box.
So we built a box.
Isn't it a beaut, Cal?
Mm-hmm.
It is a box for the refrigerator.
Cool.
I'm gonna install this backing plate because this will go up against the engine room, and that's the biggest potential. Whoops, I put a screw through into your vacuum insulated panel and now it's worthless.
So to orient the project, it's on its side right now.
Yeah, you're looking down into the fridge from the top.
Got it.
I really hope epoxy is this miracle adhesive that they make it out to be, because we rely on it a lot. Apparently, if you sand metal, you can use epoxy as a adhesive for that too. I think our epoxy is set.
Excellent.
I can tell because when you rub the metal filings, some of them stick. This is a little contour cut to go with the hull. So just at the end goes ever so slightly up to fit flush. So I scarfed it. The next step in the process, we install this on the inside. This will help reduce any internal moisture. It's got kind of like a foam backing. This is an underlayment for flooring, 3 millimeter thick. We'll put one layer up all the way around the interior, and then we'll put it in place with this stuff.
Oh.
This is foil backed butyl tape. And then it'll be contouring, filleting, fairing the interior, making it pretty, and then we'll build the custom top for it with its own little lids. First I gotta cut off the metal around the outside, but that's boring, so I'll take care of that right now.
Okay, you're gonna do that right here in the office.
That's not bad.
Oh, looks pretty great.
Yeah. Ooh, there is some humans in there.
Oh, I bet.
Whew.
Really stings the nostrils.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, it's starting to look like the inside of a fridge.
Totes.
Next up is the butyl tape. That stuff right there, would you hand it to me? It's just gonna seal all the joints and seams. I'm getting better at it. Look at my interior lower seams.
Seems great.
Shall we experience some insulated panels?
Next step, making sure all these panels fit nicely into place.
Boom. Then we'll fill the gaps with rigid foam, and then we're going to put a protective interior of fiberglass regular insulation on the inside, just to keep these guys safe. Then we'll basically just kind of epoxy it in place and call it a refrigerator box. You might be wondering, how are you going to get your compressor in there, Chris? There's supposed to be a hole in the wall. That's correct. I actually factored that in, so on one of these ends there'll be an 1.5 inch gap between the bottom of the top panel and the side, so that'll go in like that. Cool, so that's the next step. I think we'll tackle this all tomorrow when we can get out the foam and really put these in right.
Oh God, that thing makes me nervous.
4, 9 1/4. Oh, that's my problem. That's why you always measure twice and drill once, son.
Unfortunately, our fridge sits over one of the access panels to our water tank, so we had to cut in a little recess to make it even and flush with the floor.
Did a great job, Henry. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay.
What's that?
This is the spray foam that we're going to use. It also works as an adhesion.
Don't overdo it.
Would never. Handle me.
Handled. Got it?
Look, it's barely squeezing out. There's some gaps and cracks in there.
Turns out, we severely underestimated how far a can of this stuff would stretch. We ended up burning through most of our supply very quickly.
Another dead soldier. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I should need 2 more cans of this stuff. Far from pretty, but we did it. Only one problem with the plan. I'll get you. This panel did not fit in there well. Dude. I think you're close, man. Okay, gap filler.
Big gaps. Big gaps.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yep. We're already going to put the pink foam in front of it, so we'll just carve that down to accommodate that and lose a tiny bit of volume, but it'll still be flat when I'm done. The other thing is the back wall here, or I guess the side wall, is only 1 panel deep, so we'll use extra pink foam to make up for that. A little bit of a bummer, but I didn't want to try to force a panel in there, and it would have been sticking up at least this high. So we're gonna let it dry. It's ugly, I know. We'll get it cleaned up tomorrow. We've done some things and some stuff. Yesterday was particularly hot. I was working Sam's shirt, so no one wants to see this yet. Maybe one day when I sail away and I get really lean and sexy and rugged, I'll go shirtless, but probably not. We cut this little access hole. And then I took our foam that we had fiberglass, and I removed a ton of material off the back. This was really boring. I literally, like when you're doing a scarfing, I used my table saw and just freaking cut 3/4 inches out of the 1 inch out of the bottom, and then I got out the sander and sanded it down. And then I whittled down the end here so that those 2 little holes right down here, can you see that?
I can, yeah.
They'll have a pass through, so those will go right into here. Then I cut this to size, even accommodated our little outcrop here. You know, it's not perfect, and nothing really ever is, but I think that the end result will be quite attractive once we get everything in here.
You know, we should probably check and make sure this actually fits now that we're nearing completion.
We built a lid. And if you remember, again, not perfect, these ended up a little proud of the top of this, but since we're putting on a 3/4 inch lid, we're able to
just cover it up.
Yeah, just route out a little bit of the material so it'll have a little space. And that lives just like that. The compressor, the compressor's right here. Alder Barber, super cold machine. No regular cold machine for the two of us. No, we inherited a super cold machine. What's the difference, you might ask? Well, anyway, so this is gonna live in the steps right next to the unit. It'll live basically right here in a little space. It'll have a passive airflow vent for inflow, and then the air it's sucking will actually be ducted into the bilge. This is the compressor, and there's the other thing, like the evaporator box or whatever you want to call it. That's going to live right here on this wall. And so we were trying to figure out the configuration of the lid. The cool thing we want to do is put hinges on this side and then put a gas strut here so that you can open the lid and have that air assisted gas strut keep it open for you so it doesn't bonk you on the noggin. Bopped on the old noodle. Trying to figure out the whole configuration. I think we're going to go with a 3/4 inch lid with 2 inches of rigid foam on the top. The strut will live on the back side. What else is there? Oh, we're ordering some custom gaskets. I don't know which ones yet, but I found a website that sells custom sized gaskets for a reasonable price, and we're going to double gasket it because that's what you want to do when you're doing a refrigerator like this. You want to have 2 layers of gasketing to really prevent air exchange from the outside world, because any air that makes it into here will condensate on the inside, and that's how you start getting ice buildup and things, and that causes a lot of problems. So the more you can limit the air exchange from outside of the box, the less icing you'll have in the unit itself. That's what I understand anyway.
Wonderful. Tune in next week for part 2 of our 37-part series on how to build a box that keeps things cold. The saga continues. Hey you, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw and you want to keep following along, become a subscriber. Just hit that subscribe button below. And special thanks to our patron crew. We really appreciate your support.
Man, you're gonna have to edit a lot of this. I just ate some sausage and onions for breakfast, Kelly. Can you believe that? For breakfast. Breakfast sausage, though. Onions aren't breakfast onions. Anyway. I mean, listen, it's got a weird alien sound to it, Kelly.
It does.
This is a wave of the future. 1 panel, 1 panel, 2 panel, 2 panel, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top.
You almost did the Macarena there.
No one accidentally does the Macarena.
I didn't say it was an accident.
How about that, Kelly?
How about that?
Are you still out there?
Yep, I'm here.
Hello, God. It's me, Margaret.
Am I bright?
Very bright. Can't see your face.
That's what my teachers used to say. What's up, nerd?
Does he look cute?
He does look cute.
You got a good head for glasses.
Yeah.